Hi, Julia Watts here. Thank you for joining me on my YouTube channel. Today we're going to create a simple tag using the Fairy Hugs Winter Wonderland collection, and we're focusing on the Walrus family. And as you see, we're going to make a tag. So to begin with, we're not using many stamps, which is fabulous, I think. I've got a tag that's cut from using the Studio Light Oriental Tags die set, which I know is really hard to find, but I just love these dies. They're just so useful. And so put the back to one side. That's why I like it. It's got layers to it. And this is a Distress Oxide spray background, and there is a video on my YouTube channel which is in the this video description, and that shows you how you can do this. It's very simple, and you get a twofer, and this is the one where I've actually drawn with the tubes. This is the bottom layer. Don't ask me what colours they are because I never remember, but obviously we're in the blues here. There's probably a bit of blueprint sketch in there, and maybe a bit of salvage patina, but who knows, it doesn't really matter. It's shades of blue. So we're going to use, first of all, the Fairy Hugs, the Fairy Rainfall stencil. So we're going to get ourselves some background going on. So let's just pop this down here to begin. We are going to move it around a bit because obviously it doesn't go the full length of the tag, and we're using a distress ink because I like stamping on distress rather than on oxide, and we're using the Uncharted Mariner. And you will find everything I'm using on my website, juliawattscrafts.co.uk, for shipping to UK addresses. And if there's anything that you are after, particularly Fairy Hugs wise, if it's out of stock, then just click on the email when available button, and you'll get notified as soon as I have it back in stock. Fairy Hugs are an American company, so I bring them in from the States for you, my lovely customers. And there are well over 500 stamps now in the Fairy Hugs catalogue, and it's not just about fairies, as you'll see from the tag that we're making today. Obviously this stencil can be used with lots and lots of different stamps from different manufacturers as well. Works really well with the dancing penguins, also with the dancing frogs and the dancing bunnies. Anything that's dancing can dance in the raindrops, and also works really well with April, who is one of the fairies. So let's pop a couple of these at the top here so we can extend this. I'm not too worried if it overlaps a little bit. And I'm using one of the Studio Light blending brushes because I like the fact that they're all coloured. So I know that this is the one I'm going to be using with all my blues. I don't have any of these in stock. These are the smaller ones, but I do have the bigger ones in stock, which are kind of yellows and oranges and pinks. Okay, so there's our background already. Obviously that ink will clean off my stencil really easily in water. Let's just give ourselves a bit of a tidy up here. Obviously you can pick that up if you want to, but there isn't much ink there. And let's start stamping. So we're going to use a stamping platform. This is the Press to Impress from Crafts 2. And obviously it's very difficult to put this up into the corner, but I tend to just pick a line from the template sheets that you can get, and we'll pop in here. Oops, my magnets together. And so we know that we're on this number 2 line here, and right in the corner is 17, so that's where I've got to pop it back into if it moves. And this is watercolour card, so it does absorb the ink a lot quicker than the Fairy Hugs papers. We're going to be using the icebergs. There's two stamps in the iceberg sets, which is part of the new Winter Wonderland collection. And let's go for, we'll have one down here, I think. Like so. And we'll pop another magnet just there. And then we'll have one offset over to the side here. And I'm trying to put them where the kind of the rain is falling. Obviously icebergs are in snow, but of course it's going to rain, isn't it, as well? So it doesn't really matter. It's poetic license. You can do whatever you want, can't you? Let's do these in black. We'll do these in Nocturne Versafine Clear, I think. Should we do them in grey? No, let's do them in black. Lots of tapping. Obviously, you could use these the other way up if you wanted to. They're great if you put them quite close to each other, and you can make like a causeway for animals and fairies and dragons to walk along. So Quilo, the unicorn, and Paloma work really well, the fairy, walking across here. Give the ink a chance to settle in. And there's a couple of icebergs, and we're going to put another one at the top as well. Let's move that slightly, and we'll have the smaller one at the top. So I'm going to take my acetate that comes with the stamp, and I'm going to use that to help me place the smaller one up here, and that's going to go in that grip there. And the magnet's over, so I think that's good. And we don't need this one, and then we can pick that up. And remember to take away the acetate. It's always a good idea to remove the acetate. Otherwise you're getting quite a mess, and it's a waste of ink. Tap, 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 tap. Do use a good juicy ink pad. Versafine Clairs are excellent for this type of stamping. So I do have all the colours of the Versafine Clair in stock on my website, and I do have a re-inker currently in stock for the Nocturne. So if you are buying a Nocturne, or if you have one, then definitely grab a re-inker as well. Okay, so there's our 3 icebergs going on there. And on the icebergs, this time we're going to use the Walrus family. So let's see. I think we're going to go for the big ones. And we have a left and a right in 2 different sizes. We do have mermaids as well in the Fairy Hugs collection. So you could have mermaids bobbing along as well. Let's have it so that that one's in there like that. So we're going to have a trio of the bigger walruses. And he can go on there like that. And we are going to have some smaller ones as well, but we'll just deal with the big ones for now. And I would normally probably do these in grey, but because they're going onto the icebergs, and the icebergs are actually stamped in black, I think we're going to get a better finish. We'll be able to hide the lines more if we actually go for black still. So we'll stick with the black, the Nocturne. We'll probably have to go a second time because we're on watercolour card and these are more of a silhouette stamp. Just take your time with your stamping. Have fun. Tags are great if you're not really sure what you're doing, because it's like a smaller piece. I mean, this is quite a large tag, but it's a smaller piece of work that you're dealing with, and sometimes that's not as scary. See, it's already coming together, isn't it? So he could have done with being a little bit lower. That's a good, you know, that was a fairly clean stamp, so it's hard to see where you're putting it. But it's fine. Maybe he's just jumped up. That one's a bit high as well. Third one's a charm, so we'll see what happens with the third one. Okay, that's better, nice and deep. And we're going to put the third one on this iceberg here, if we can get it on. And so it'll be this one here. So I've got a spare piece of acetate that I can use for that, because obviously my bigger piece has got the other walruses on it. So let's see. So we can bring him down further if we want to, so we can get him on. Like so. A little of his tail will be off, but that's fine. That creates movement, so don't worry about getting everything on your tag. That is the problem with tags, because you haven't got as much area to work with. So pick him up and remove the acetate. You can just clean that off, and then you'll be able to see, because the worst, if you leave it dirty, then you won't be able to see where you're going with it when you use another stamp. So we'll stamp this third one. Let's just put another magnet up there. It might be too high. Let's see. Oh no, that magnet's fine. And we will go a second time, because then he'll be as dark as the other ones. Although he's nicely lubricated now with the ink from the first stamping, so that's a better impression. We'll make sure that he's just as dark, and also we'll hide the lines from the iceberg at the back by going a second time. Okay, so there's our 3 walrusi, or whatever they are. I think they're called a herd of walrus when you've got more than one. Walrusi isn't actually a proper word, I just made it up. Right, so we've also got little tiny ones. I do want to try and get a sentiment in here, so let's see if we can actually fit it where I want to. We might actually have it down here. Let's actually have the sentiment here, and then we can have 2 little walrus. Oh, I want a walrus there. Faff, 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 faff. Let's see. Oh, it just about fit there. Acetate's great, isn't it? So you can see exactly where you want to go with it. See if I can get it in the right place. It sticks to your fingers. Get off me. Make sure it's straight. Okay, so that's where we'll have our sentiment. So we get that one first, and then we'll start faffing with the little walrus. So again, we just go with black. So this says walking in the winter wonderland. Because they kind of drag themselves, don't they, walrus, along the beach and along the rocks. Let's go a little bit more so it's a little bit darker. Just about fits. If you don't want it to squashed up, just move this iceberg over a little bit. Okay, so that's our sentiment all done. And now with the smaller ones, I think it'd be nice to have them bobbing around, because obviously little kiddies play, don't they? We are going to have them, we're going to have them facing in the same direction though, I think. So what we'll want to do is we'll want to have them bobbing around. Let's see, you want their heads up like that, maybe. Okay. So how I do it, it's always guesswork, is ink up in the black, and then depending on how choppy you want your water, you want to take a little bit of the low tack tape. This is the Scotch one, and you can make the water a little bit choppy around them. I don't know if this will work, but we'll have a look. Okay. And then we stamp. Obviously we will want to stamp it a second time. We'll see how we get on. Okay, so now we can pull, if we pull off the first one, they'll all come off together. So then we can re-ink. And then we can try and get this on in the same-ish kind of place. There's his leg, there's his body. Okay, so he's in the water there. And we'll keep that one because we're going to do it again up in this particular thing here. Oh, get off me. I don't want the ink to go everywhere, that's it. Right, so let's just we'll take this little piece of acetate and we'll pop this one up here maybe. And I think we'll cut a little bit more off than we had before. So maybe just his head. And we do that, right, okay. So that one's got his tail a little bit. We can do his head here. So let's pick that up. And ink up again. We only really want his head. So let's take a bit of acetate, not acetate, low tack tape, like that. And then we'll add another piece over his tail, like that. So we've just got his head popping out of the water. It just makes me giggle. I think we just leave him as he is. We just do him the once. Obviously, if you wanted to do it again, then you just keep that and you can pop that back on again. Let's get rid of that for now because remember it's got ink on the back. They're so funny, aren't they? You know, if it makes you smile, it's worth having, isn't it? It definitely is. So they're so much fun, the Walrus family. And they're very different. Lots of people were saying, I've never seen stamps like that before. Very unusual, but yeah, lots and lots of fun. Let's just clean that off. Right, so we've got our sentiments, we've got our Walrus family. Right, so just need to kind of finish off really. So let's come out of here. So let's just edge first of all with a little bit of prize ribbon. Why is it never where you want it to be? There it is. I do like to edge with oxide, so this is prize ribbon. Obviously we're dealing with blues, so you can go with whatever colour blue you want. Hopefully the Uncharted Mariner will be available again soon. Just adding a little bit of colour around the edge so that it doesn't just fall off. Okay, and we'll get this onto our other part, and then we'll just add a little bit of white gel pen. So in the set you do get reinforcers as well, so I tend to kind of keep these in pairs so that then I know they're all going to work together. Just some Sentimental Yours glue. Don't need loads. Check that straight. Yeah. Just be careful if you've got this set, when you turn it over to kind of make sure your glue's all set, don't run your fingers around the edge, because that's where the die turns in, the die cut turns in, and you can get quite a nasty paper cut from that. So been there, done that, don't do that. Bit of dirt there, that's from the ink that's still wet. Let's clean that up. This first line here does take quite a long time to dry. So that's why it's brilliant for your silhouettes, but you just need to be careful. And of course you can actually add your embossing powder as well. So what's quite nice to do is take a Sakura glazed pen, not glazed pen, this is the opaque white one. So this is XPGB #50. Just make sure that this is running properly. And a spare piece of card. And then you can kind of go up just sections of the iceberg, just to add some accents. Now, I'm not the best with a gel pen, but I think if you think about it, then you're not actually going to do a very good job. So don't think about it, just do. Just drag it down there. Bits here. You don't even have to think about where the lines stop or where they start, just it's called mark making. So you just get a little bit of the white and I'm just trying not to stick my hands in the black ink, so don't drag your hand over it, as it will smudge the ink. There's a little bit of white going on there, might want a little bit more actually there. Okay, and maybe just a little bit under the walruses where they're just going. I mean, you can whiten their teeth as well if you want to. And so just to finish off, all I would do is grab some baker's twine. These make brilliant bookmarks. So if you're thinking about Christmas presents perhaps, or if you've got somebody that absolutely loves walruses, then you could, if you've given them a book, or you know, if you've got all those beautiful books that you can get with landscapes, then these make great bookmarks. You can actually make tag shaped cards as well. So you'd have the die on the outside, one edge on the outside of your fold of your card blank, and then you can just put this section on the front and you've got a great shaped card, and that's just a little bit different. I do tend to knot the ends of my baker's twine so it doesn't fray, just as a little thing. So there we go, there's our walrus tag. Lift it up so you can see. It's really cool. So those extra white bits just on the icebergs just do make a difference. And I have got one here as well, which is a similar thing, and this is with the dancing penguins instead, and there's some musical notes in here and some ice cubes as well. So same but different. Obviously they're going to work, and obviously you could do this with the polar bears as well from the new Winter Wonderland collection. So thank you for watching, and you can find everything that I've used today over on my website juliawattscrafts.co.uk for shipping to UK addresses. Thank you. Bye.